Winfrey, Amanda Markle, submitted her third amended complaint against Meghan, her half-sister. And so she did this on the last day she was allowed to. She has only the Oprah Winfrey interview that is allowed on her third amended complaint. So I'm going to go over it and see what you think. So I'm going to skip some of the beginning part, talks about the parties, and then Samantha proclaims that she was close to her sister despite their 17 age difference. Samantha said she was more than a model to follow. And then Samantha goes on to say she drove Meghan to and from school and acting classes. But of course, 17 age difference, this is the time when Samantha would be going off herself to college. She would also be getting involved with her future husband, Mr. Rasmussen, and so forth. So she couldn't have been around Meghan that much. But I'm not going to add any more things right now. I'm going to just read it, and then I'm going to discuss it in another podcast because this is going to be very long just to read it. It's 20 pages. So she claims she helped her with her homework, shopping, taking her to the mall, and that they had a wonderful relationship. Then Meghan had success. She wasn't able to spend time with Samantha. The two had stopped visiting in 2016. And Samantha said there were no hard feelings between them that she knew of. Unfortunately, once Meghan met and began dating Prince Harry, Meghan became hostile to Samantha, as well as her half-brother and her father. And Meghan's relationship with Samantha became estranged. She proclaims that in 2017, when Meghan announced her engagement to Prince Harry, Meghan stopped talking to Samantha on the phone, and that Meghan was unwarrantedly hostile towards Samantha. While Meghan was on a break from work at her home in Canada with her mother, Samantha states Meghan hung up the phone immediately upon hearing Samantha's voice. Samantha said that was strange. It had never happened before. So Samantha called back right away and left a message. And to this day, Meghan has never returned Samantha's phone call. But of course, they have spoken many times since that alleged incident. Oh, I'm not supposed to comment, so let me just continue. Following a surprising response to Samantha's phone call and continuing to the present, Meghan has beleagueredly attempted to malign Samantha as well as other family members, as it is Meghan's method to terminate friendships rather than save them, and for her to become hostile. On May 19, 2018, Meghan married Prince Harry at St. George's Chapel at Windsor Castle in the United Kingdom. Out of Meghan's entire immediate and extended family, only her mother, Doria Ragland, was formally invited to the wedding. Meghan verbally invited Thomas Markle, the father of Samantha, and Meghan only to invite him shortly before the wedding. Prior to the wedding, Thomas Markle suffered 2 heart attacks and for obvious medical reasons was not able to attend. Meghan knew of his medical condition. She, instead of showing grace and compassion, she effectively terminated her relationship with her father because she believed that he had attempted to gain publicity due to Meghan's engagement. Around that time, the media discovered Samantha and began contacting her for interviews. Samantha accepted the request for interviews and made glowing and positive statements about her sister Meghan and her upcoming wedding. During an interview, one of Samantha's statements was taken out of context and misconstrued. Samantha revealed that Meghan had not yet contacted her father despite knowing that Thomas Markle recently suffered 2 heart attacks. Samantha misconstrued the statement. was apparently the tipping point of Meghan's relationship with Samantha. After the interview with Samantha, the press released numerous stories about how Samantha bashed Meghan when Samantha had simply expressed concern for both her father and her sister. Meghan, however, once the issue was out in public, Meghan became a relentless foe to her sister. It was after the interview of Samantha that Meghan started her smear campaign and ongoing deluge of distorted facts and stories, complete with fake quotes about and by Samantha. By is a quote. Meghan harbored resentment due to what she perceived to have been Samantha's intentional statement and the follow-up by the press. She responded to the fake quotes publicly through various media outlets. Meghan has never reached out to Samantha directly to discuss these matters, nor had Meghan taken any steps to correct the lies which had been continuously spread about Samantha. Meghan knows and has known at all relevant times that her older sister Samantha suffers from muscular sclerosis, a debilitating disease exacerbated by stress. Nevertheless, she has not only made public statements vilifying and embarrassing Samantha, but she has encouraged hatred of Samantha through a bot network which has caused great harm to Samantha. Actual background. On September 2020, Meghan and her now husband, Prince Harry, signed a multi-year contract with Netflix for $135 million. In October 2020, Meghan and her husband, Prince Harry, started their joint media production project, Archwell Production, a self-controlled media production company. Oprah Primetime Show. On March 7, 2021, Meghan and Prince Harry appeared on an Oprah Winfrey Primetime special. Approximately 50 million people worldwide reviewed the program, hereinafter referred to as The Interview. During the interview, Meghan made 4 disparaging, hurtful, and false statements, insinuating that Samantha was a stranger, a liar, and a person who was only a deceptive, fame-seeking imposter with avaricious intentions toward Meghan, who publicly referred to one's own flesh and blood as a stranger and attacked the veracity of Samantha's recently written and released book was more than giving her opinion. The false statements insinuated that Samantha has concocted a fictitious story to reap some inappropriate reward from Meghan's fame. In an interview, the interviewer asked Meghan about Samantha and Samantha's book. In direct response to the question, Meghan said, "I think it be very hard to tell all when you don't know me. When you talk about betrayal, betrayal comes from someone that you have a relationship with, right? I don't feel comfortable talking about people that I really don't know." Interview 3:36. Yet Meghan's supposed discomfort did not stop her from making 3 additional false and damaging statements in the interview about Samantha. Meghan stated, "I grew up as an only child, which, as everyone who grew up around me knows, and I wished I had siblings." Interview 3:36. Although taken as an isolated statement, one could misinterpret the only child statement as a statement of how Meghan felt. However, when you put in context of other statements about Samantha, this statement was a denial that Samantha played a part in her life and her upbringing. As such, the statement impinged the character of Samantha by making Samantha appear to be a liar for profit and fame. This is especially true because Samantha had written a book which expressed the truth of their relationship. The statement by Meghan set up the oft-spoken and oft-implied false accusation that Samantha is a liar who is fabricating stories about Meghan so that Samantha could become rich and famous off of Meghan's marriage to Prince Harry. Using reductive logic, Meghan then degraded their relationship to the physical form only, stating, "The last time I saw her must have been at least 18, 19 years ago, and before that, 10 years before that." Interview 4:19. This was a false statement of fact, not an opinion, which, again, implied that Samantha was a liar and fame seeker because it ignored the multitude of phone conversations Meghan and Samantha had enjoyed throughout the years. Those phone calls went both ways, and Meghan often called Samantha for sisterly advice. These calls happened periodically throughout their pre-Prince Harry lives. As a follow-up question about the relationship between Samantha and Meghan, the interviewer asked, "So you all weren't close? You didn't grow up together?" Interview 4:22. That question gave Meghan the opportunity to state in a damaging and hurtful response, "No." Again, Meghan attacked Samantha's veracity, calling into question on a world stage Samantha's own fond memories of the time spent together when they were both younger with their father, Thomas Markle, in his home where she was living at the time. The final defamatory statement Meghan made during the interview was that Samantha changed her surname back to Markle when Meghan started dating Prince Harry. That statement was false and harmful because it was not the time that Samantha began using the name Markle. By making that false statement as to the timing that Samantha started to use her maiden name, Meghan created an accusatory air of mendacity, ignoring the multitude of reasons a person like Samantha may change their name and when and why, in fact, Samantha changed her name. The statement, quote, "She changed her last name back to Markle only when I started dating Harry. And so I think that says enough," end quote. Interview 5:00 inferred that Samantha was nefariously using Meghan's last name to cash in on her sister's fame. The statement was not true. In fact, Samantha legally changed her name back to Markle in July of 2022, 5 years after Meghan started to date Harry, and after her relationship with Meghan fell apart. Of greater significance, Samantha has used her family name Markle interchangeably all her life. This gets crazy. It is of importance that rather than interpreting each word said or each false set of words, it is important to look at the whole effect of all that was said in the interview together. According to Meghan, she was betrayed by Samantha, who Meghan claims she really did not know. Meghan always wanted a brother or sister, and the implication, if not the specific statement, was that Samantha was someone who Meghan did not know well enough to comment. The context of these statements by Meghan was that Samantha was falsely portraying that she was Meghan's sister. Also, that Samantha could gain wealth and fame pretending she was Meghan's true sister. Samantha was being impliedly accused of being a charlatan. Meghan used her station and access to popular platforms to direct her hurtful, malicious, and untrue words towards tens of millions of people worldwide. None of Meghan's above statements were true, nor were they the mere opinion of an individual. They were statements used as a weapon to discredit and injure the reputation and pecuniary interests of Samantha. The interests made in the interview were injurious and defamatory and harmed and continue to harm Samantha emotionally, physically, and monetarily, and have caused hatred and threats against Samantha. On December 8, 2022, Netflix aired the first part of a 6-part miniseries entitled Harry and Meghan, hereinafter referred to as series, on its streaming platform. The series was a joint effort between Meghan's production company, Archwell Productions, and Blackwell and Ruth. The series was filmed, edited, and produced for Netflix under the direction of Meghan and Prince Harry. According to CBS News, just 6 days after its release, the series had received 28 million views by December 14, 2022. The series became the most watched subscription TV show of the year. The series contains 6 episodes, and each episode has a runtime of almost 54 minutes and entails collections of interviews with Meghan, Prince Harry, and a very select, hand-picked group of their friends, family, and interested and participatory parties. During the 323 minutes of running time, the only members of Meghan's entire family that were interviewed were Meghan's mother, Doria Ragland, and Meghan's niece, Samantha's daughter, Asila Pale. Meghan used the series as a platform to publish, promulgate, and distribute on a worldwide level malicious, hurtful, and damaging lies, many of which were directed at Samantha. The 6-part miniseries mentioned Samantha either directly or indirectly in 4 of the 6 episodes. In the series, there were numerous isolated statements made about Samantha. As this series was produced and edited by Archwell Productions, all the statements were ultimately approved by and published by Meghan. Meghan published these statements. The series is disparaging and hurtful on its own, and the statements, when taken individually or collectively, weave a narrative of lies that Meghan hides behind in an attempt to bolster her own false rags to riches, while actually discrediting her sister, calling her a liar and fame seeker, and far worse, going so far as to publish statements which imply or state that Samantha is a racist. The defamatory statements made in the series, episodes 2 to 5, are restated below. These statements are either defamatory on their own or, when taken together, create the implication that Samantha is a liar, an agent provocateur, the one who is fabricating stories, and a racist. The statement. Meghan said, quote, "I was with my mom during the week and with my dad on the weekends, and my dad lived alone. He had 2 adult children who had moved out of his house." Series Season 1, Episode 2, 27:46. In reality, Meghan lived with her father full-time and visited her mother on some weekends. When Meghan was in junior high school, Samantha lived on the property and was always home when Meghan came home from school. Often, she drove Meghan to school or accompanied her father when her father drove. After school, Samantha and Thomas Markle would help her with homework, and he took Meghan shopping on weekends. Meghan said, quote, "You're telling people you raised me." Series Season 1, Episode 3, 18:17. And Meghan said this herself, and it is not true. Samantha never suggested that she raised Meghan. These false statements are incendiary to Meghan's fans who have harassed and threatened Samantha due to these statements published by Meghan. Next, Meghan said, quote, I don't remember seeing her when I was a kid at my dad's house, if and when they would come around, end quote. Series, Season 1, Episode 3, 18:31. In reality, Meghan was close to Samantha while she lived in her father's home, and there is no way that she could have forgotten it, considering that she continues to have memories of other issues at that time. Next, Christopher Boese, who worked for Bot Sentinel and was retained by Meghan for the series, and in his employ by Meghan in the course of the scope of his retention, he said, and Meghan published one, quote, so this is not your everyday trolling. It's insane. And it was done by people who were just not the typical quote-unquote trolls. These are housewives. These are middle-aged Caucasian women creating just constant attacks from, quote, go back to America, unquote, to basically, quote, why don't you die, unquote. 2, quote, Samantha Markle was part of a group that was putting out a lot of disinformation, end quote. 3, quote, how can the half-sister of Meghan be part of a hate group, end quote. 4, quote, perhaps the most troubling part of this is the number of British journalists interacting with and amplifying the hate and the lies, end quote. 5, quote, for the main hate accounts, their primary motive is monetizing this stuff, end quote. 6, quote, by the secondary accounts, it's all about hatred, end quote. 7, quote, it's about, race, end quote. 8, quote, so then there would be derogatory terms where they would use the N-word on tweets. Series, Season 1, Episode 5, 29:19 to 31:49. Next, Prince Harry said, quote, I think for people to really understand, when you plant a seed that is so hateful, what it can grow into, end quote. Series, Season 1, Episode 5, 32:00. Next, to Prince Harry's comments. Alluding to the press and Samantha, Meghan said, quote, you're making people want to kill me. It's not just a tabloid. It's not just some story. You're making me scared, end quote. Series, Season 1, Episode 5, semicolon, 32:05.
Okay, this has to be completed on another podcast because my camera only does 20 minutes. So look for part 2 of Samantha's third amended complaint, which should be right next to it. Bye.